Imagine discovering grand mansions once filled with luxury, laughter, and life, now left to decay, frozen in time, wrapped in mystery. These abandoned beauties stand as haunting reminders of forgotten dreams and lost fortunes. From eerie castles to futuristic ruins, here are 7 of the world's most beautiful abandoned mansions, each with a story waiting to be told. Lynnewood Hall, Pennsylvania, USA. Imagine stepping into a grand palace frozen in time, its massive pillars standing tall, whispering secrets of a bygone era. That's Lynnewood Hall, one of the most hauntingly beautiful abandoned mansions in the world. This 110-room neoclassical masterpiece, built in the early 1900s by industrial tycoon Peter A.B. Widener, once hosted extravagant parties, fine art collections, and some of the wealthiest figures of the Gilded Age. But today, it sits eerily silent, a decaying relic of its former glory. Widener, a business magnate with ties to the Titanic tragedy, poured his fortune into creating what was once called the American Versailles. The halls were once filled with masterpieces from Rembrandt, Raphael, and El Greco, but after a series of misfortunes, including the loss of Widener's son and grandson on the Titanic, the mansion's fate turned grim. Over the decades it changed hands but never regained its former splendor. Now the estate is abandoned, deteriorating and covered in vines, yet its haunting beauty remains unmatched. Massive chandeliers still cling to the ceilings, intricate carvings adorn the walls, and grand staircases spiral into darkness. It's a mansion frozen in time where wealth, tragedy, and mystery intertwine. Some say it's haunted, others see it as a lost treasure, but one thing's for sure, Lynnewood Hall is a ghost of America's Gilded Age. Bannerman's Castle, New York, USA. In the middle of the Hudson River, perched on the rocky Polypal Island, stands the breathtaking ruins of Bannerman's Castle, a place that looks like it belongs in a fantasy novel rather than New York. This crumbling Scottish-style fortress wasn't a royal palace or a grand estate, it was a military surplus warehouse built by Francis Bannerman VI, an eccentric businessman with an eye for the dramatic. Bannerman made his fortune buying and selling surplus weapons, and after the Spanish-American War, he found himself with more cannons, rifles, and ammunition than he knew what to do with. So instead of a boring storage facility, he built a castle-like arsenal straight out of medieval Europe, complete with turrets, towers, and massive arched windows overlooking the river. It was his dream project, and he even inscribed the words Bannerman's Island Arsenal on the castle walls. But dreams don't always last. After Bannerman's death in 1918, a mysterious explosion rocked the island in 1920, damaging much of the castle. Over the years, fires, storms, and neglect turned it into a haunting ruin, its skeleton still standing against the sky. Today, it's a magnet for explorers, photographers, and ghost hunters who swear they hear whispers among the walls at night. A castle built for weapons, destroyed by fire, and now left for nature to reclaim. Bannerman's Castle is a tragic yet mesmerizing piece of forgotten history, sitting in the middle of the Hudson, waiting for its next chapter. Louis Family Mansion, Taiwan. Deep in the heart of Taiwan's Chiayi County, hidden among tangled vines and towering palm trees, lies the eerie yet mesmerizing Louis Family Mansion, a place where beauty and mystery collide. Built in 1929, this grand Baroque-style estate was meant to be a symbol of wealth, success, and prestige for the Louis family. But instead it became one of Taiwan's most haunting abandoned mansions, shrouded in ghostly legends and whispered secrets. The mansion's elegant columns, arched windows, and intricate carvings still stand, but its once glorious halls are now filled with shadows and decay. Cracked walls are covered in moss, wooden floors creak under unseen footsteps, and the air carries an unsettling silence, as if the house itself is holding its breath. But why was such a magnificent place abandoned? According to local lore, tragedy struck when a family member mysteriously drowned in the nearby pond. After that, strange occurrences began, unexplained sounds, flickering lights, and ghostly apparitions roaming the corridors. Fear spread, and soon the mansion was left to rot, swallowed by time and superstition. Some say it's cursed, others believe it's simply forgotten, but those who dare to step inside describe an overwhelming feeling of being watched. Today, the Louis family mansion remains frozen in time, an architectural masterpiece slowly being reclaimed by nature. Its haunting beauty and dark history make it one of Taiwan's most mysterious abandoned places, a silent reminder that even the grandest dreams can turn into ghost stories. Lennox Castle, Scotland. Hidden deep within the Scottish Highlands, surrounded by towering trees and rolling mist, stands the eerie ruins of Lennox Castle, a place where beauty and tragedy are forever intertwined. Built in 1812 as a grand country estate for the powerful Lennox family, the castle was once a symbol of wealth and aristocracy, its stone walls echoing with laughter, music, and the clinking of fine crystal. But as time passed, its purpose took a darker turn, transforming it from a luxurious mansion into something far more haunting. In the 1930s, Lennox Castle was repurposed into a psychiatric hospital, a place meant for healing but known instead for its neglect and suffering. Thousands of patients lived here, many enduring harsh treatments, isolation, and inhumane conditions. Overcrowding and mistreatment turned this once majestic castle into a place of sorrow and despair. By 2002, the hospital shut down, leaving behind only ghostly remnants of its past. Today, the castle stands in ruins, its grand turrets crumbling, its once beautiful windows shattered. Moss creeps up its stone walls, and the sound of the wind through the empty halls feels like whispers from the past. Some believe the spirits of former patients still wander the ruins, their presence felt in the form of eerie cold spots and distant, unexplainable voices. Lennox Castle is no longer a place of wealth, nor is it a place of healing. It is a monument to forgotten history standing alone in the Scottish wilderness, a castle that went from grandeur to ghosts, and now only silence remains. Elda Castle, New York, USA. Deep in the woods of Westchester County, New York, hidden behind thick overgrowth and forgotten by time, stands the crumbling remains of Elda Castle, a mansion built out of ambition, but left to the mercy of nature. This eerie, fortress-like estate was the dream of David T. Abercrombie, the co-founder of the world-famous Abercrombie & Fitch brand. He envisioned a grand, medieval-style retreat where his family could escape the chaos of the city. But like many great dreams, this one was destined to fade. Built in 1928, the castle boasted stone towers, arched hallways, and sprawling courtyards, giving it the appearance of an ancient European stronghold. But its beauty wasn't enough to prevent its downfall. After Abercrombie's death in 1931, his family slowly abandoned the estate. Over the years, the castle changed hands, fell into neglect, and was eventually left to crumble, becoming nothing more than an eerie, skeletal shell of its former self. Today, Elda Castle sits in haunting silence, its ivy-covered walls whispering stories of the past. Broken windows stare like empty eyes, vines creep through the floors, and the once grand halls are filled with shadows. Urban explorers who dare to step inside claim to hear strange noises echoing through the ruins, as if the mansion refuses to be forgotten. Some say it's haunted, others see it as a hidden treasure lost in the woods. A castle built by a legend, abandoned by time and shrouded in mystery, Elda Castle remains a ghostly monument to dreams that never quite came true. Ashlar Hall, Tennessee, USA. In the heart of Memphis, Tennessee, surrounded by modern life yet frozen in time, stands the mysterious Ashlar Hall, a Gothic-style mansion that has seen it all. Once a symbol of elegance, then a wild nightclub, and now an eerie abandoned relic, this castle-like estate has lived many lives, each more fascinating than the last. Built in 1896 by Robert Brinkley Snowden, a wealthy businessman, Ashlar Hall was meant to be a grand family home. Its turrets, stone walls, and medieval architecture gave it the appearance of a fairy tale castle, standing proudly among the mansions of Memphis. But fate had other plans. Over time, the once luxurious estate fell into decline, and by the 1990s it had transformed into something entirely unexpected, a notorious nightclub known as Prince Mongo's Castle. Enter Robert Prince Mongo Hodges, an eccentric businessman who claimed to be an alien from the planet Zambodia. Under his ownership, Ashlar Hall turned into a bizarre party hub, filled with neon lights, strange decorations, and stories of wild late-night antics. But the chaos couldn't last forever. After years of legal troubles and neglect, the mansion was abandoned, left to crumble like a forgotten dream. Now, Ashlar Hall sits vacant and decaying, its once grand stone walls covered in graffiti, its windows shattered, its halls filled with eerie silence. Some believe the ghosts of its past, whether aristocrats or partygoers, still linger within. A castle built for luxury, turned into a nightclub, and now left to whispers of the past. Ashlar Hall remains one of Memphis's most hauntingly beautiful abandoned mansions. Casa Sperimentale, Italy. Deep in the forests of Fregene, Italy, hidden among the overgrown trees, stands a structure so bizarre, so otherworldly, that it looks like it was plucked straight out of a sci-fi movie. This is Casa Sperimentale, a brutalist, futuristic treehouse that was meant to be the future of architecture, but instead, it became one of the most hauntingly beautiful abandoned places in the world. Built in the late 1960s by Italian architect Giuseppe Perugini, Casa Sperimentale was never meant to be a typical home. Instead, it was an architectural experiment, a bold attempt to blend modernist design with nature. The house is a collection of floating geometric shapes, concrete cubes, spheres, and cylinders, stacked like a surreal puzzle, all supported by stilts that elevated above the forest floor. It was meant to feel futuristic, playful, and completely unique. And it was. But despite its groundbreaking design, Casa Sperimentale was abandoned decades ago, left to decay in the dense Italian woods. Graffiti now covers its once pristine concrete walls, nature is slowly reclaiming its space, and the house has an eerie, post-apocalyptic vibe. The staircase leading to the floating rooms is rusted, the interiors are empty, and yet, it still looks like a house from the future, just one that time forgot. Some call it a forgotten masterpiece, others see it as a haunting relic of a dream that never fully came to life. But one thing is certain, Casa Sperimentale is a glimpse into an alternate world, a house that was too ahead of its time, now standing as a mysterious, abandoned architectural wonder. These abandoned mansions may be forgotten, but their stories still echo through time. Which one fascinated you the most? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to DwellScape for more incredible architecture, forgotten places, and hidden wonders. Until next time, keep exploring the beauty of the past.